Perfect. Good to start. Good evening, everyone. Guys, we are back with the class and we're back with a bang. What are we doing in this session, guys? Value of supply has already been done. We are definitely clearing every doubt. So every doubt that you have, you can put it up here. We can definitely discuss doubts right now. Every third session will be a dedicated doubt solving session. Guys, so if you have any doubts across GST, across CA Intertax, of course GST right now, DT later, you can definitely put it up here. But overall, besides the doubts, what else are we going to cover in this session? We are going to cover registration module sums as well as exam sums. We will look at a chapter called time of supply, and we will start a chapter which is called ITC, which is like the main hero of this GST paper. So we'll do this in this session right now. First up, registration, guys. Let's try and quickly revise. You will participate and you will tell me what all you know from this chapter. Let's try and see what all you know. Guys, section 24 tells you compulsory registration. Will you check turnover in this case, guys? No, you will not. 22 says that you will have to check aggregate turnover because this is turnover based registration. 23 says that there are some cases where you don't have to register HEARS. The most important are H and S, handicraft goods and services up to 20 lakhs. 25 section tells you how to register. Remember the concept of effective date and the earlier effective date. 26 says that we are all in this together. 27 is only for the 27-day exhibitions, CTP and NRTP. 28 says that you can amend. 29 says that you can cancel the registration, which is very sad if the officer decides to cancel a registration. And 30 says that you can revoke the cancellation. This was what we did before the break. In this session, guys, I'm just going to upload the Quickbook and the module. So first I'm going to upload the Quickbook. Here we go. This is the Quickbook, guys, and like you know, in the Quickbook, this is the chapter of registration. I have put the Quickbook in the same order as how we are discussing it. Registration chapter, section 22, then of course section 23, then section 24, compulsory registration, then section 25, registration process, 26 together, 27, 28, 29, all the shortcuts which we discussed, can, etc. are all here. Can immediately comments 36 frauds, all these shortcuts are here with links to the module questions. So after you've done this Quickbook revision, guys, whenever you have to revise, you will use the Quickbook, and after that I'm just going to upload the module ICI material. This is registration chapter. Guys, we'll go straight to the end and we will target all the questions that we need to do from this chapter. So here we go. Let's start, guys, the questions from this chapter. Everyone, this is what we are doing. Determine the effective date of registration in the following cases. The aggregate turnover of Dhampur has exceeded the applicable threshold of 40 lakhs on 1st September. Guys, are you liable to register? Yes. You submit your application on 20th September. Are you proactive? Yes. So what is your effective date, guys? Your effective date is 1st September. Next, Mehta is an architect in Lucknow. Its aggregate turnover exceeded 20 lakhs on 25th October. Submits the application on 27th November. Are you proactive, guys? No, you are not proactive. Then in that case, will you get an earlier effective date? No, your effective date is 5th December. In order to be eligible for grant of registration, a person must have a permanent account number issued under the Income Tax Act, state one exception. Guys, yes, you need a PAN number, but one exception is NRTP. So let me tell you, what does NRTP require to register? NRTP will require its foreign tax numbers. NRTP will require the passport details of the person who's representing and coming from abroad, and they will require the PAN number of their India representative. This is what the NRTP will require. They will not require their own PAN number. State which of the following suppliers are liable to be registered. Guys, he's an agent and is supplying goods on behalf of some other taxable person whose aggregate turnover does not exceed the applicable threshold limit. Guys, he is supplying goods on some other taxable person, so is the principal registered? Yes. So do you have to register compulsorily, guys? Yes. Do you remember this, guys? Yes. So agent, if your principal is a taxable person. Next, an agriculturist who is only engaged in supply or produce of cultivation of land and aggregate turnover exceeds. Guys, agriculturists, will they have to register? No. Section 23. Good answers, guys. Moving ahead, pure oils. Determine whether pure oils is liable to be registered. Guys, pure oils has supplied machine oil and high speed diesel in the month of April. Pure oils is not yet registered. Supply of machine oil in Delhi, supply of high speed diesel in Delhi, supply of machine oil made in Punjab from its branch located in Punjab. Guys, do they have to be compulsorily registered? No, because they are not doing interstate. Although they are supplying in Punjab, but the Punjab branch is only supplying, so it's not interstate. So do we need their turnover details now? Yes, please find out the turnover and tell me the turnover, guys. But this is diesel, guys. Still you will include it. Excellent, guys. The turnover is 35 lakhs. Please tell me, will pigs apply to them? Are they dealing in prohibited goods? No. Are they doing interstate? No. Are they only dealing in goods? Yes. And are in those states of Antimami and Putsam? No, guys. They are in Delhi and Punjab. So they have a limit of 40 lakh. They are right now only at 35 lakh. Will they require registration? No registration. What will be your answer if Pure Oil supplies high speed diesel in the capacity of an agent of Mixed Oils Limited? Guys, even then you will not require registration unless Mixed Oils is registered. But this is diesel, so even then in that case also you will not require, because this is diesel you do not require any registration. Alright, examine whether the supplier of goods is liable to get registered in the following independent cases. First, check for 24, especially interstate, guys. Check the first one. Raghava Assam is doing only intrastate supply of ready-made garments in Assam. 24 does not apply, so let's check 22. What is his turnover, guys? Assam is 33, Tripura is 11. To aggregate turnover is how much, guys? 44 lakhs. And is he in Antimami, guys? Yes, he is in Tripura. So what is the limit applicable? Even if one entity is in Tripura, 10 lakhs, so will he have to register? Yes. Pulkit is in Goa and he is doing intrastate taxable supply of shoes. Guys, is only doing intrastate, so let's check for pigs, P-I-G-S. Is he doing prohibited? No. Is he doing interstate? No. Only goods? Yes. And is he doing this supply? Guys, no. Is he not in these states? So what is the limit? 40 lakh. Where is he? 22 lakh. So will he have to register? No. Check the next one, guys, and give me the answer. Guys, he is dealing in pan masala, so 40 lakh will not apply to him. He is not in Antimami, so 10 lakh will not apply. So the limit is 20. He is at 24. Will he have to register? Yes. Moving ahead to the 7th question, guys. Read and answer the first part. Guys, intrastate but services. So 40 will not apply. He is not in Antimami, so 10 will not apply. So 20, and he is at 25. So will he have to register? Yes. Next, please read. Again, intrastate, but goods and services, so 40 will not apply. He is not an anti-mami, so 10 will not apply. So 20 is the limit. He's at 30. Will he have to register? Yes. What are the advantage of taking registration? You can charge GST to your customers and you can take ITC. Can a person without GST registration collect GST and claim ITC? Absolutely no. If a person is making taxable supplies from different states with the same PAN number, can he operate with a single registration? No. Can a person having multiple places of business in a single state obtain separate registration for each place? Yes. Is there a provision for a person to get himself voluntarily registered? Yes. Can the department through the proper officer suo motu proceed to register a person? Yes. Whether registration granted to any person is permanent? Yes, it is permanent till it is cancelled, guys. You never have to renew it. Is it necessary for the UN bodies to get registration? No, they only need to get a UIN. What is the validity period of the registration certificate granted to casual taxable person? What is the validity period? Shortcut A90 and can be further extended by A90. What happens when the registration is obtained by means of willful misstatement, fraud or suppression of facts? It can get cancelled under section 29. Is there an option to take centralized registration for services under GST law? No, guys. Statewide registration. At the time of registration, will the assessee have to declare all his places of business? Yes. One will be called PPOB and one will be called APOB. Alright, now looking at examination questions, guys. Here we go, question bank. Guys, generally when we do a chapter, we are so fed up or we are so done with doing the chapter only that we don't land up looking at the module, or even if you do the module, you don't land up looking at this question bank. So this is a great opportunity. And my suggestion is, whenever you want to revise, just watch these 15 hours, 17 hours, guys, and finish your GST revision very, very quickly with this. Registration chapter, let's do it, guys. 4 marks, question number 7C. State with brief reasons whether the following suppliers of taxable goods are required to register under GST law. Guys, please read the first one. Always check first for section 24, especially interstate supply. Guys, Raghav is selling medicines in Assam, but he's doing interstate supply, guys, of goods. Will he have to compulsory register? Yes, compulsory register under section 24. Next, please read the next one and please answer. Guys, SN Gupta is an agent of Rishi, but we don't know whether Rishi is registered or not. So let's check SN Gupta independently. No compulsory registration. Let's check under section 22. What is his aggregate turnover? 12 and 9 lakhs, that is 21 lakhs is his aggregate turnover. Is he into pigs? PIGS. Is he doing prohibited goods? No. Is he doing interstate? Intrastate? No. Interstate. Is it only goods? Yes. And is he in one of those states of anti-mami and Putsam? No. So his limit is 40 lakhs. He's right now only at 21. So no registration in this case. Guys, these are exam questions. I hope you're understanding. Next, answer the following questions with respect to CTP. Who is a CTP, guys? A CTP is a person who is registered in one or more states in India but is temporarily wanting to make supplies from another state. Can a CTP opt for composition scheme, guys? Excellent, Chirag. Good, Surbhi. No, because casually needing ice cream, studying income tax online, so he cannot. When is the CTP liable to get registered? 5 days in advance, guys. 5 days in advance. Do you remember this? Under which section? Under section 27. What is the validity period of registration certificate? What is the shortcut, guys? A90. Period that you applied for, or 90 days, whichever is lower. And can the validity be extended? Yes, once. Again, A90. Perfect. Explain the registration requirements in the following independent cases. Over to you all, the first one. Always check with 24 first. Rakesh is not plus 90, it's A90. I hope that is mistake. That is corrected. Perfect. Guys, he is not required under section 24. Compulsory registration is not required because he is not doing interstate, etc. So let's check 22. And in 22, guys, what is his turnover? 24 lakhs. Is he into pigs? No, he's supplying tobacco. So 40 lakhs does not apply to him. Is he in Antimami? No, he's in Jammu. So what is his limit, guys? 20 lakhs. And where is he right now? 24. Will he require to register? Yes. Next. Please read the next one. Mizoram. So are you in Antimami, Nagaland, Tripura, Manipur, Mizoram? Yes. What's your limit? 10 lakhs. You're already at 13 lakhs. Yes. What if he's located in Meghalaya? Guys, Meghalaya, 40 lakhs you cannot be because Meghalaya has put SAM. 10 lakhs you're not, you're at 20 lakh. Your limit is 20 lakh and you're at 13 lakhs. So no, you won't have to register. This would get you 5 marks in the exam, guys. Your answer changes, guys. I repeat, for Meghalaya, guys, can you be 40 lakh limit? No, because you are in put SAM. Are you in Antimami? No. So then what is the default limit? The default limit is 20 lakh. Guys, Antimami is not Meghalaya. Mami is Manipur and Mizoram. Alright. Excellent question. BBD of Gujarat exclusively manufactures and sells product Z, which is exempt from GST wide notification. Guys, if you're selling exempt supply, do you have to register? No. Section 23 says you don't have to register. Why should you register? Logical, guys. The company sells Z only within Gujarat, that means only intrastate. The turnover, and right now they are not registered logically. The turnover of the company was last year 50 lakhs. The company expects the sales to grow by 10%. These expectations are all rubbish, guys. You don't need to care about expectations. However, on the 1st of Jan 2020, the exemption was withdrawn by the government and GST was imposed. So guys, on the 1st of Jan, earlier they were exempt. Now is it taxable, the goods? So now will you have to check for registration? Yes. Which is the first section you will check? Check section 24. Are they doing interstate? No. So mostly 24 will not apply. Check 22. What is your turnover till now, guys? Their turnover till 31st December was 42 lakhs. So will they be registered, guys? Whether it's 40 or 10 or 20, they've crossed them all. So will they require registration? Yes. But let's check what is their limit, guys. Let's check for pigs. Are they dealing in prohibited goods? No. Interstate? No. Only goods? Yes. And are they in Antimami or put SAM? No. Then in that case, guys, their limit is 40 lakh, which they have crossed. Guys, we have not discussed this, so let's discuss it here itself. Guys, when you apply for cancellation, can you apply for cancellation, guys? Please tell me, can you apply for cancellation of registration? Yes. Or can the GST officer also cancel your registration? Yes. While that cancellation proceedings are going on, they suspend your registration. Suspension means during that period, can you make any taxable supplies? No. But the good part is, for that suspension period, you don't even have to file your returns. So suspension under the provision of the CGST Act related to suspension of registration. What is the period and manner of suspension of registration? Guys, the GST officer may suspend, and during the suspension the manner is such that you cannot make any taxable supplies, and you can't even actually you don't have to file your returns as well. That time, guys, the registration suspension rules were different, so there was a question. Now they cannot ask a question because those rules have been changed. Perfect. But this is a very good question. Explain the circumstances under which the proper officer can cancel the registration on his own of a registered person. Do you remember, guys? Can immediately commence 36 frauds. You need to explain any 5, and these are the 5. Let's go, guys. In July, again there was a question. Please read and please tell me whether registration is required or not in the first case. Very simple, guys. Guys, does he have one showroom in Manipur? So Manipur means what limit, guys, will apply? The limit will be 10 lakh. And what is the aggregate turnover? Please tell me aggregate turnover. 25 plus 1540 plus 1858 lakhs. Will they require registration? Yes. Next, please read the next one. Ankit is in Telangana, guys, and he's doing intrastate, so 24 does not apply. Let's check for pigs. 22. Is he doing prohibited goods? No. Is he doing interstate? No. Is he dealing only in goods? Yes. But is he in one of the states, guys? NT, Mami or Put Sam? Yes, Telangana is put. So hence 40 does not apply to him. 10 will not apply, so his limit is 20. He is already at 25. Will he require registration? Yes. Over to you all. The last one, please. He is supplying pan masala, guys. So will 40 lakh apply to him? No. He is in Uttar Pradesh, so 10 will not apply. So 20 is his limit. He is at 30 lakh. Will he require registration? Yes. Looking at the next question, please check and answer, guys. I'll read it. It's slightly complicated to read this one. Apsara Teleservices is an architect in Lucknow. Its aggregate turnover exceeds 20 lakhs on 25th October. It submits the application for registration on 27 November. Guys, is it proactive? No, it is not. So what is the date of registration? 5th December. And Pink Footwear, guys, they were liable on 1st September. They apply on 20th September. Are they proactive? Yes, so effective date will be 1st September. Examine whether the liability to register compulsory in each of the independent cases below. You have to only check for 24 section 24. Check, guys, and tell me under section 24 are they required to register, and 23 also. Supply of potatoes not required to register. Supply of toys intrastate, do they have to register under 24? No. But let's check for 22 also. What is their turnover? 22 lakhs. Are they in pigs? No, they are Telangana, so cannot be pigs. So what is the limit? 20 lakh. And have they crossed it? Yes, so they have to register. But under 22nd section they have to register. Under 24 they don't have to register. Okay. That is very good question, and I have a feeling this question could be there in your exam next, because this is based on a recent change. Mr. X of Haryana intends to start business of supplying building material to various construction sites in Haryana. He has taken voluntary registration under GST in the month of April. Guys, can you take voluntary registration? Yes. However, he has not commenced the business till December. Guys, from April to December he has not commenced. Is it more than 6 months? Yes. The proper officer suo motu cancel the registration. Is this valid? Yes, guys, because if you don't commence your business for how many months? 6 months. he may cancel your registration. Mr. X has applied for revocation under section 30 after 40 days from the date of service. Department contends the application for revocation can be made only within 30 days. However, Mr. X contends the period of submission of application may be extended on sufficient grounds. Is it right, guys? Guys, as per section 30, you have to apply within 30 days. But if you are delayed due to sufficient cause, can you apply for extension? Yes. And can this period be extended? Yes. By how many days? As determined by the GST officer. And hence, is the contention of the department right? No, the contention of the department is not right. And Mr. X, is he right? Yes. But you have to make an application for extension. Perfect, guys. That is the chapter. My focus, guys, is not doing reading the module. My focus is looking at the sums, because as you saw, they never ask definitions, they ask sums. Looking at a new chapter. Let's see, guys, what this new chapter is all about. Guys, this new chapter is called time of supply. But before this chapter, I want to understand a couple of concepts. Guys, in your house, does the gas come directly in the pipeline? And is it continuous supply of goods? Yes. So that gas is continuous supply of goods. That's an example. And guys, can a CA firm give accounting services to a client throughout the year? Yes. Is that continuous supply of services? Yes. For services, we require a condition that it should be more than 3 months. For this, there is no such condition. Guys, we need one more thing for time of supply. Is it necessary to issue an invoice, guys? After a supply, when you buy a phone or a laptop, does the seller give you an invoice? Yes. So section 31 says that you need to issue an invoice, and there is a due date for invoice. So 31(1) says, as and when the goods are removed. Example, he removes the laptop and he gives you as and when they are removed, or as and when they are delivered, like you book an AC and it's delivered to your house. By that time, the invoice should be issued, by the time they are removed or by the time they are delivered. Next, in case of services like a CA firm, you don't need to be in such a hurry. You need to issue an invoice within 30 days. After you provided the services, you have to issue the invoice within 30 days. And for certain people like banks, financial institutions, NBFCs, this period is 45 days. So please tell me, guys, yes or no, is there a due date to issue the invoice? Yes. What is the due date, guys? In case of goods, whenever they are removed or delivered, and in case of services, within how many days, guys? 30 days and 45 days. Alright. Anything else? That's about it. Let's start this chapter, guys. Time of supply. Please tell me, for time, guys, if the time of supply is today, that is 5th August, will you pay the government in the month of September the GST? Yes, by 20th September of the next month, that is September, you will pay the GST. So guys, time of supply for the government, earlier the better or later the better? Earlier the better. That's a key word, guys. Early, early, early. Now, guys, time of supply, whenever I see the time, right now I'm seeing 7:30, but no, 6:30, sorry. But whenever, guys, you see the time for time of supply, you will always see 12 o'clock or 13 o'clock, because the section is section 12 and 13. 12 is for goods and 13 is for services. Let's check, guys. Time of supply has two parts. Time of supply of goods is section 12, and 12.1 simply says if you are looking for time of supply of goods, come to my section, come to my house. And section 13.1 says that if you are looking for time of supply of services like a CA firm, please come to my house. All right, let's start, guys. The first one which we are discussing is a section called 12.4 and here 13.4, and please remember 4 is always for vouchers. Guys, whenever you want to gift your friend a voucher, how many vouchers will you gift? You will always gift 4 vouchers. That's how you remember 12.4 and 13.4. Guys, let's say you went to Titan watches and you bought a voucher. You got a voucher, 4 vouchers for 4,000 rupees. Guys, please tell me here, do you know, does Titan know and does the government know what is the GST whenever your friend uses these vouchers? Yes. Please tell me, guys, on watches, is the GST, you know what GST applies on watches? Yes. So is the supply determinable? Do we know how much will be the GST? Yes. So if the supply is identifiable, whichever date you've purchased this voucher, that will be the time of supply. So if you purchase this today, 5th August will be the time of supply. But what if you go on Amazon, guys, and you buy a voucher? Guys, do you know what your friend is going to buy on Amazon from that voucher? No. So will we wait for him to use the voucher? Yes. And then will we know he's bought t-shirts? Yes. So in that case, date of redemption will be the time of supply. If he redeems it on 15th September, that will be the time of supply. Same thing for services, guys. Just change Titan watches to Salon, and the same thing comes here also. So 12.4 and 13.4, both of them talk about what time of supply, guys? Time of supply of vouchers. In case of time of supply of vouchers, if the supply is identifiable, then what will be the time of supply? Date you have purchased the voucher. And if the supply is not identifiable, then will you wait till redemption? Yes, it will be date of redemption. This is very simple, guys. If you think logically, till the friend buys the goods from Amazon, how will Amazon know how much to pay to the government? Yes. Next. And guys, all this time of supply is seen from whose perspective? The supplier's perspective or the recipient's perspective? Always the supplier's perspective. Because guys, please tell me, in this case, who is the supplier? Who is his liability for? For Titan and Amazon, it is a supply. Supply leads to what, guys? Liability. So they will have to pay GST to the government. Guys, I know all of this. If I don't get replies, there is no point doing this, guys. Please tell me, for whom is this supply? For Titan and for Amazon, is it supply? And supply leads to what, guys? Supply leads to liability. So hence this entire thing should be from whose perspective? The supplier's perspective. Alright. So here we go. 12.4 and 13.4 is for vouchers. Let's look at the next one. 12.6 and 13.6. Guys, sometimes can it happen that you don't pay on time? And if you don't pay on time, can they apply interest or late fee or penalty? Yes, they will apply interest, late fee or penalty at the rate of 6%. And that's the section, guys. 12.6 and 13.6. Let's discuss. Guys, this is electric bike company. They have supplied a bike to you and you were supposed to pay by the 4th of August and you did not pay. So now today, are you going to pay them interest or late fee or penalty? Please tell me, guys. Were you supposed to pay by the 4th of August? Yes. Did you pay it? No. So today, will they charge you interest or late fee or penalty? Yes. It's very difficult. It will be if I don't get replies, please. I'll have to ask people to leave and watch it recorded. If I don't get replies, there is no point doing a live class, guys. Alright. So I'll repeat and ask one last time. If you pay late to someone, will you have to pay interest, late fee or penalty? Yes, you will have to pay interest, late fee and penalty. And then in that case, guys, what will be the time of supply? Now let's see. Guys, what if you're a regular customer? Can he waive off the interest also? Can he say, listen, don't pay the interest? Yes. What if you pay on time? Then you won't pay the interest. So guys, can it be sometimes you have to pay, sometimes you don't have to pay? Yes. So we don't know whether you have paid or not. How will we know? We'll know only when EBC actually receives the payment. So this interest, late fee and penalty, the time of supply is whenever EBC receives it, date of receipt. But what if the date of receipt in the bank account is 5th August, but books of accounts is 10th August? Then which one will you take, guys? What is the keyword? Earlier, so we will take 5th August. Alright. So I repeat, in case of interest, late fee, penalty, guys, what is the section? 12.6 and 13.6. In 12.6 and 13.6, how do you remember this? Because 6% interest, you have to remember. Guys, can sometimes this interest be waived off? Can sometimes this interest be not paid? Yes. So, and sometimes it is paid. So when will be the time of supply? Whenever you receive it, date of receipt, in books of accounts or bank account, whichever is earlier. Alright. Now let's go to the residual section. Let me explain this to you. Guys, you were a tuition teacher. Let's say you were teaching CA foundation students and you would only take cash. Please tell me, were you supplying? Yes. But guys, did you pay any GST? No, because you were not showing this supply. You were not even probably registered. Guys, are you cheating the government? Yes. You earned crores of rupees, guys, but because you took only cash, you did not register, you did not pay any GST, so you are cheating the government. The government raided your house and they found lots of money in the under the bed. And then you told the government, sorry, I supplied services. I have a turnover of, let's say, I made 5 crore rupees from that. So guys, will you have to pay, will the tuition teacher have to pay GST on this? Yes, with interest, penalty, etc. And you will pay it today. Yes. Guys, do I know when the student enrolled, etc. now in the last 2 years? No. So hence, in this case, guys, since you don't know any details, this is the residual section. 12.5 and 13.5 is the residual section, and in this case, whenever you make the payment and file the return, that will be the time of supply. So 12.5 and 13.5 is whenever, this is the residual section. Whenever you make the payment or whenever you file the return, that will be the time of supply. Just 1 second, guys. Alright. So 12.4, 12.5 and 12.6 done. 13.4, 13.5, 13.6, they are the mirror images, they are also done. Guys, just checking with you, how many vouchers will you give? 4. How much interest will you pay? 6. And what is the residual section? Section 5. Alright. Next guys, let's do section 12.3 and 13.3. These sections are used only in case of RCM supplies. So let's take an example of an RCM supply. Guys, this is an agriculturalist who is supplying cashews. Guys, what about cashews? Will the recipient pay under RCM? Yes. In this case, guys, you have to look at 4 letters and the shortcut is like this. Recipient pays in 31 entirely. Guys, what is the shortcut? The recipient will pay in how many days? In 31 entirely. Guys, here, although for all the other sections, whom are you focusing on? The supplier, because he is paying the GST. Here, who are you going to focus on, guys? The recipient, because here he is paying the GST. So let's see what these 4 letters mean. First, date of receipt. When did you receive the cashews? Let's say you received it today, guys. So what is this? Date of receipt. When did you receive it? Let's say today, 5th August. When did you make the payment? Payment in the books of accounts or bank account, whichever is earlier. When did is the date of payment? From whose perspective? From recipient's perspective. Let's say this was 5th September. From the invoice date, 31 days. Let's say the invoice was issued on 16th August. So what is 31 days, guys? August is a month of 31. So just go 1 month ahead. So 16th September. So 16th September is 31 days from the date of invoice. And this one you don't check right now. So which is the earliest date, guys, of these 3? The earliest date is 5th August and that becomes your time of supply. So it is as good as fill in the blank, guys. You have to just use the shortcut. Recipient pays in 31 entirely. And what is recipient for? Date of receipt. What is payment for? Date of payment. What is 31 invoice? Means 31 days from the date of invoice. Earlier of these 3. Guys, what if only 2 of them are given? This one and this one. Then focus on these 2. What if only 1 was given? Then focus on that. But guys, what if none of these 3 dates are given? Then you will look at this, the date of passing the entry in the books of accounts by the recipient. So this entry, is it the last resort, guys? Yes. When none of the 3 are available, then you will go to date of entry in the books of accounts of the recipient. Repeating, guys, we are looking at 12.3 and please tell me the shortcut for 12.3. Recipient pays in how many days? In 31 entirely. Date you received the cashews, date you made the payment in the books of accounts or bank account, whichever is early, 31 days from the date of invoice, and if all these 3 are not available, only then date of entry in the books of accounts. So this is 12.3. Now let's go to 13.3, guys. 13.3 is similar. So let's say there's a lawyer who is providing you services and you are a business entity, big business entity. Guys, is this also under RCM? Yes. So what is the time of supply in this case? Again, recipient pays in 31 entirely. But your small change, guys. In services, guys, do we have one particular date of starting and ending? Generally not. So we don't know when the services will be received. So hence you remove R. Cancel this out. And in 31 make it in 61. So what are the 2 changes? you remove R and make N61. So here it is, guys, date of payment. When did you pay the lawyer? Let's say you paid him on the 15th September. 61 days from invoice. Let's say the invoice is on 16th of August. So what is 61 days? 16th of August to 16th September is 31 days. How do I know? Because August is 31 days. And 16th September to 16th October is 30 days. 30 and 31 is 61. So 16th October. Guys, which is the earlier one? This is the time of supply. So what if this was not given? Then still one. What if both were not given? Then date of passing the entry in the books of accounts will be the time of supply. So guys, please tell me, for 12.3 and 13.3, is the shortcut almost the same? Recipient pays in 31 entirely. Yes. Remove R and make in 61. So basically you're focusing on payment date and you're focusing on 61 days from the invoice. And entry is the residual. Yes, entry is the residual. Guys, here there is a small thing that I want to explain. Please watch out and please see if you understand that. Guys, when you go to your uncle's shop to buy a mobile phone, let's say your uncle has a shop of mobile phone and you go to your uncle's shop to buy a mobile phone, will you pay him money? Yes. But guys, will he give you a formal invoice and all that formality? Or let's say you're buying a t-shirt, will he give you a formal invoice, etc.? No formalities, guys. So same way, guys, if you are in India and you are getting services from abroad, this is services from abroad, bahar se, please tell me, is this a supply which is chargeable to GST? Under 7(1)(b), guys, is this bahar se? Whether it's for business or not, is there consideration? Yes. And guys, will you be paying your, let's say this is not an architect, let's say this is your sister concern only, let's say Electric Bike Company UK or US. Guys, I'm repeating, you are in India and you are getting these services from a sister concern in the US. Is this bahar se services? Will you be paying GST? Yes. Will you be paying GST? Yes, because it is supply. And who will be paying GST? The Indian entity will be paying GST. So is this RCM, guys? Yes, this is RCM. So this is services, section 13, RCM, section 3. Recipient pays in 31 entirely. Remove R, make this 61. But please tell me, guys, here, are you guys related to each other? Yes. Is this similar to you going into an uncle's shop? Yes. So will you guys issue an invoice? Maybe not. So don't focus on the invoice. So it's payment date and the one which was sidelined, entry, which will now enter payment date or entry date, whichever is earlier. So repeat, guys. Generally for 13.3, is it payment invoice 61 and entry is sidelined? Yes. But if you are taking services from your associate enterprise or a related party, will you ignore invoice? Yes. So it is only between payment date and entry date. Entry will suddenly become inside. This is slightly complicated. So let's take an example here, guys. Guys, you are Unacademy India and you took some designing services from Unacademy UK. They are charging you 1 crore rupees for that. Please tell me, is this bahar se services? Yes. Whether it's for business or not, is there consideration? Yes. So will this be supply? Yes. Who will pay GST on this, guys? Unacademy India will pay GST. So I just want to know when to pay GST, time of supply. So is this goods or is this services? So which section, guys, for services? Section 13, time of supply. And is this RCM? Yes, so section 13(3). Recipient pays in 31 entirely. This goes out, this becomes 61. Then in this case, guys, will an academy issue invoices to each other? Maybe not, and hence you ignore invoices. So it's the payment date whenever you make the payment, or the entry date, whichever is earlier. Alright, that brings us to the last section of this chapter, guys. Section 12(2) and section 13(2), which talks about FCM. Guys, FCM, we can take any example. So let's take electric bike company. This is electric bike company. They are supplying you a bike. Please tell me, will you bear the burden? And will electric bike company bear the headache and pay the government? Yes. Is this under FCM? Yes, this is under FCM. Is this goods or services, guys? This is goods. So section 12, time of supply. And is it FCM? Yes. So section 12(2). They say, now that electric bike company has supplied you the bike, guys, will they demand payment? Yes. The shortcut is I demand payment. That is the shortcut. I demand payment. Just one second. I demand payment. Alright. So this is section 12(2). Guys, I demand payment is only a shortcut. You have to look at three things, and of course earlier the better. So they say whatever is the invoice date. So EBC, have you issued an invoice? Yes. Let's say the invoice date is today's date. So what is the invoice date? 5th August. Is there a due date of invoice? Guys, in case of goods, I told you, whenever they are removed or whenever they are delivered. So let's say this bike was delivered to you in July, 29 July. Was that the due date the invoice should have been issued? Yes. So 29 July. And guys, let's say you are making the payment next month in September, 15 September. So which one will be the time of supply? 29 July. Earlier the better. So what is the shortcut for 12(2), guys? I demand payment. What is I? I is invoice date. What is D? Due date of invoice. And what is P? Payment date. Then the government realized, guys, that sometimes the payment can be very early also, because sometimes, guys, do you pay the money when you book? At least part payment do you do when you book the bike? Yes. So what if you did part payment, guys? Sometimes, you know, cars and bikes and mobile phones, they take 3 months, 4 months advance money. So what if the payment was made on, let's say, 1st of April? So guys, the government said, listen, payment, what we will do is we will ignore. So they came up with a notification number 66 in the year 2017, and they said that we will ignore payment. So what is the actual shortcut, guys? I demand payment. But will we ignore any payment? Yes. Guys, payment is to be ignored, because if it's advance payment, actually they say advance payment is to be ignored. So guys, will we ignore 1st of April? Yes. And what if it's 15 September? Then will it automatically get ignored because earlier of the 3? Guys, are you getting that logic? Please, I'll repeat. 1st April, advance payment. But will you ignore that? Yes, because they are saying advance payment is to be ignored. But what if you pay the payment late? If you pay the payment late, anyways it's ignored because earlier of the following. So guys, I can safely say that payment you will not look at. So although the shortcut says I demand payment, payment will have to be ignored. So invoice date or due date of invoice, that brings us to the concept of due date of invoice. Let's quickly see this concept, guys. Please tell me, is there a due date for you filing your CA exam form? Is there a due date for everything in life, guys, generally? Yes, same way there is a due date for invoice. Due date means, can I say it's the last date by when the invoice should be issued, guys? Yes. What is the due date? The due date is given in section 31(1), 31(4) and 31(7). So the shortcut is 1, 4 and 7. This is for goods. Yes, this is for goods. Remember, this is the main one, 31(1). They say that the invoice should be issued maximum by the time the goods are removed or maximum by the time the goods are delivered. So guys, I got this AC delivered, let's say on the 29th of July. By when should Chroma have issued the invoice to me? Maximum by 29th July. I got this mobile phone removed from the shop and given to me on 27 June. By when should the invoice be given? By 27 June, whenever the goods are removed or delivered. Guys, the next one is due date only in case of continuous supply of goods. Guys, this actually is not a part of this chapter. This is a chapter tax invoice, but this is very important and you are covering one more chapter through this. So please watch out, very careful. The question on time of supply is definitely there in your exam. Please tell me, guys, are we done with almost all sections? Yes, only 12(2) and 13(2) remaining. Focus and get this done, guys. 12(2) and 13(2), is it FCM? Yes. We are tackling 12(2) right now. 12(2), what is the shortcut, guys? I demand payment. I need more replies, guys, otherwise I will have to end the lecture now only. Please tell me, guys, what is section 12(2)? Section 12(2) is I demand payment, and does payment have to be ignored? Yes, there's a notification number 66 of 2017 which says this payment will have to be ignored. So it's invoice date, which is pretty clear, guys. Invoice pay, whatever date is there, that is the date of the invoice. But due date of invoice is what I want to check. Guys, for goods, is there a due date? Yes, 31(1), 4 and 7. Whenever the goods are removed or whenever the goods are delivered. But what if it's continuous supply of goods? That means when you open your gas, guys, does gas come directly in your stove? Yes. So that is continuous supply of goods. In that case, as and when you get your statements or as and when you have to make payments, by then the invoice should be issued. So let's say for your gas electricity bill, your statement comes on the 1st of every month or 1st of the next month, then the invoice should be also coming along with that or before that. So this is for continuous supply of goods, not very important, guys. Continuous supply of goods, guys. Do you get a statement? Yes. So on or before that statement date, you should get the invoice. Can I get it with the statement? Yes, that's what in reality it happens. You get a statement and you get an invoice. And last, guys, you had a friend of yours who owned a mobile shop and you were confused which mobile to buy. So he said, don't worry, I know you, I will sell you on approval basis. So he sent 7 mobile phones to you on the 1st of Jan. And he told you choose any and keep any, and you chose one, guys. Did you approve one? Yes. So whenever you approved, let's say you approved on the 15th Jan, whenever you approved, that will be the due date by when the invoice should be issued. But what if you don't approve only? Then they will maximum wait for 6 months from 1st Jan and then they have to issue the invoice by then. Guys, some of y'all are, I feel doing this for the first time, and that's very dangerous. This is a fast track course. As I hope you've done some bit, this sounds some familiarity guys with this concept of due date of invoice, because from your answers it just feels that you're looking at this for the first time. That should not be the case. First time, Rakesh, slightly dangerous to do tax like this in the first time, but as long as you're understanding good, all right. Perfect, you're understanding great. But guys, for me, because I don't see you guys, my only things are why. If you keep agreeing to me, that means you're understanding. That's my cue that you're understanding. All right. So let's see guys, is there a due date of invoice? Just like in everything else in life, there is a due date. Yes. What is the shortcut? 1, 4 and 7. Under 31(1), which is the main section, the invoice should be issued whenever the goods are removed or delivered. Under 31(4), continuous supply of goods, whenever the statement comes or whenever you have to make the payment, by then the invoice should be issued. And under 31(7), sale on approval basis, whenever you approve, that should be the date of invoice maximum. But what if you don't approve only? Then they will wait maximum for 6 months, and if you don't approve, then on all the 7 mobile phones they will have to issue an invoice. That is due date of invoice. So I demand payment, invoice date or due date of invoice or payment date, but payment is to be ignored. So basically it's between these two. So that brings us to the last section, 13.2. Silence is approval. Silence is approval, I understand, but honestly, when I'm asking, are you understanding this, that, some replies are my cues, because if you see from my perspective, my pace, my understanding, my stressing, my revision will depend upon whether you understood or not. So that's the idea. Perfect. Alright. Guys, now the last thing that is left is section 13.2. Let's check this. This is a CA form. Guys, this is a CA firm and they are providing services to their clients. Please tell me guys, this is a service. Will they charge money? Yes. Will they charge GST? Yes. And will they have to pay to the government? Yes. But when will they pay? That is what we are deciding, time of supply. This is service, so with section 13, and because this is split, it is FCM section 13.2. Section 13.2 says everything depends upon whether the invoice is issued within the due date or not. That means whether the invoice is on time or whether the invoice is late. I want to give you a very practical example here, guys. Please tell me, if your friend wishes you on your birthday, gets a cake, everything on time, will you like that friend? Yes. But what if your friend wishes you via WhatsApp after 1 week after your birthday goes? Will you appreciate that friend? No. Same way here. It all depends whether the invoice is issued on time or the invoice is late. They say if the invoice is issued on time, do you like the invoice? Will you respect the invoice? Yes. So it is earlier of 2 dates, I, P, invoice date and provision date. So guys, let's say the CA firm issued the invoice on time. On time means, I'll tell you what are the due dates, but let's assume the CA firm issues the invoice on time. So guys, will you respect the invoice then? Yes. So then it will be invoice date or provision date, whichever is earlier. Guys, let's say the invoice was issued today, 5th August. The payment was made next month, 15 September, which will be the time of supply, 5th August. But what if the CA firm has a very bad invoice department and the invoice was issued late? Guys, will you respect that invoice? No. So it is PP, that is invoice has been ignored, provision date or payment date, whichever is earlier. This is invoice and payment, this is provision and payment. So guys, here are we including the invoice? No, we are disrespecting the invoice, we are ignoring the invoice because it is late. So provision date, so let's say you provided the services on 1st August and the payment was made on 15th September, which is the time of supply? 1st August. So this is what it is, guys. Please tell me, in section 13.2, does it matter when you issued the invoice, whether on time or late? Yes. If it was on time, do we respect it? Yes. So IP, invoice date or payment date. And if it's late, do we ignore the invoice? Yes. Payment date, provision date or payment date. Alright. With that, guys, let's check what is the due date, because to know whether it's on time or whether it's late, we need to know the due date. So let's check the due date for services. Guys, the due date has the same section 31, but here it becomes section 31.5. For goods it was 31.1, 4 and 7. Here it is 31.2, 31.5 and 31.6. 2, 5 and 6. That's the shortcut. Thank you, guys. 2, 5 and 6. They say in services, guys, you don't need to hurry up a lot. Here, whenever the goods were removed or delivered, but in this case, we don't need to hurry up. Here, we can issue the invoice within 30 days after you provide the services. In case of banks, financial institutions, insurance companies, there are so many invoices that they can issue within 45 days after providing the service. So guys, are these very patient with their invoice? Yes. Next, in case of continuous supply of goods or services, guys, do you know what is continuous supply of services? Yes. A CA firm providing services of accounting to its client, is it continuous supply? Yes. It requires more than 3 months of services. In that case, guys, check the contract. The contract should have a clause called DPC. This is a shortcut, of course. There's no such contract, there's no such clause. DPC. If the due date is mentioned, that by then the invoice should be issued, etc., that due date. If not, the payment date is mentioned, then take that. If not, then completion, when should the services be completed, that day will be mentioned, take that. Guys, earlier of the 3? No, not earlier of the 3. First check due date. If they've given the due date, take that. If not, if they've given that when the payment should be made, take that. If not, when the completion of service should be made, take that. And guys, can it happen that someone does not like your CA services? Yes. So can they say that, listen, I want to end the services? That's called cessation of services. Guys, is this a bad thing, cessation or ending of the services? Yes. And after this, would you want to see the other person? No. So they say, in case of cessation of services, you should issue the invoice at least by the date of cessation. Example, if your client says that, listen, CA firm, we don't like your, client says, listen, CA firm, we don't like your services, we want to end on 15th of August, then maximum by 15th of August, you should have issued the invoice. Guys, let's check and let's see. 31.2, 5 and 6 are the due date for invoice of services, and 1, 4 and 7 is for goods. 2 says that within 30 days and 45 days, please issue the invoice after you give your services. So we have relaxed time of 30 and 45 days. If it's continuous supply of services, then look at DPC. In that order, yes, in that order. First look at D, if not P, if not C. And 31.6 says that if you're ending the services, then whenever you end the services, that time should be the time of supply. So here guys, IP or PP, whichever is earlier. So I'm giving you example. The CA firm issued the invoice within 28 days. Is it on time? Yes. So will you look at I, invoice date and payment date, whichever is earlier? Yes. What if the invoice was issued after 38 days? Are we late? Yes. So will you ignore the invoice because it's late? Yes. So provision date or payment date, whichever is earlier. Congratulations guys, this is section 13.2. I have some generic questions now. Please tell me, in the entire time of supply, if you feel today 5th August is the time of supply, when will you pay the GST to the government? The next month by 20th. Next, guys, does the government want the GST earlier or later? The government wants the GST early. Earlier is the keyword. And in all these cases guys, who will you focus on? You will focus on the supplier, except one place, which is RCM, where you'll focus on the recipient. In all these cases guys, do we have different sections for goods and different section for services? Yes. And that is your chapter. I'm going to recap this chapter here with your contribution guys. Whenever you want time of supply guys, which two sections or which time do you see in your watch? You see 12 and 13. 12 is for goods, 13 is for services. 12.1 and 13.1 are the introduction sections. Yes. 12.2 and 13.2 are for what guys? FCM. 12.3 and 13.3 are for what guys? RCM. 12.4 and 13.4 are for what guys? How many vouchers? 4 vouchers. Let's start. For vouchers guys, if you know the supply, if it's identifiable, then whenever you purchase, is that the time of supply? Yes. And if you don't know the supply is identifiable or not, like an Amazon voucher, the date you redeem, is that the place of supply, time of supply? Yes. Next guys is residual section. Like you are caught because you sold some services and did not pay GST. In that case guys, residual section, will you finally have to pay the GST whenever you pay or whenever you file the return? Usually they both have to happen together. And for interest, late fee and penalty, guys, what rate will you pay interest? 6%, 12.6 and 13.6. And in that case guys, is it sure you will pay interest or can it be waived off also? Yes, it can be waived off also. So hence in that case, whenever you receive it, that time will be the time of supply. Let's do RCM. Recipient pays in 31 entirely, but entirely is only used if all three are not there. Recipient pays in 31 entirely. R goes out and this becomes in 61. And if you're dealing with associate enterprise, this invoice also goes out. So this is payment date or entry date, whichever is earlier. 12.2 says I demand payment, but is payment to be ignored? Yes, advance payment is to be ignored, but anyways even late payment will become ignored as per notification number 66 of 2017. And this is IP or PP, whichever, if it's on time then IP, if it's late then PP. But this depends upon due date. And do we have due date of services? 2, 5 and 6, generally 30 days and 45 days. And do we have due date of goods? Generally whenever they are removed or delivered. Sale on approval guys, you will wait maximum for 6 months. And DPC is in case of continuous supply of services. Guys, this is your chapter. Here is time of supply. (12 and 13). The time that you see is always 12 or 13. 4 vouchers. Late fee at 6%. Recipient pays in 31 entirely. Pays in 61 entirely. I demand payment. IP or PP 147256. Yes. I just want to discuss one small concept here. I'm just going to explain it here only. Guys, let's say this is someone who's provided you services for 970 rupees. It can be your electricity company, it can be your CA, it can be an accountant. Guys, can you sometimes pay him slightly extra? Can you pay him round figure 1000 rupees? And can you say, listen, we'll adjust it next time? Yes. I'll change the amount. Let's say the amount was 6700 rupees. Can you pay round figure 7000? And can you say we'll adjust the 300 next time? So the law says that if you've got anything extra up to 1000, is anything extra but only up to 1000, then it's your option. You can consider, guys, have you got more 300 rupees? Yes. So does the government want GST on this 300 also? Yes. But they say, yes, we want GST, but you can pay it along with this time supply or next time supply, no problem. So whenever you adjust it next, can you adjust it that time? Yes. So let's take an example. What if, guys, this time supply, the date of supply is 5th August, where you got 300 extra. Can I pay this 300 on that GST on the 5th of August only, basically considering 5th of August only? Yes. Or the next supply will happen on the 7th September, where the 300 rupees will get adjusted. Can I consider that as 7th September also? Yes, it's your choice, up to 1000 only. Perfect. Is adding the module material so that we can do questions now. One minute. Time of supply. All right, let's check the questions, guys. Here we are. Explain the significance of time of supply. Does time of supply establish your liability? Yes. And do they tell you when to pay to the government? Yes. GST is payable on advance received for supply of goods and services taxable under forward charge. Do you agree with the statement? Yes, but only partly, because for goods, any advance received will be ignored as per notification number dash number 66 of 2017. Determine the time of supply in the following cases. Assume GST is under reverse charge. So guys, reverse charge means it will be under section 3, subsection 3. This is goods. We'll do only one. Let's do the second one and the third one. Guys, this is goods. So which section will apply? Section 12. And this is RCM. So with section 3, recipient pays in 31 entirely. All right. Let's check, guys. Let's fill in the details. When did you receive the goods? 1st July. What is the payment date? 25th June. And what is 31 days from issue of invoice? The invoice was issued on 29 June. So 30 days is 29 July, 30th July, So 1st July, 25th June or 30th July, which is earlier guys? 25th June is the time of supply. We'll do the next one again guys. Here there are two payments, but does not matter. Even if there are two payments, you'll just have to do the calculation twice. A recipient pays in 31. Let's do the first one. Part payment was made guys on 30th June and balance was made on July 20th. Let's do the first payment, part payment. Let's call it number 1. What is the date of receipt guys? 1st July. When was the payment made? June 30th, June. And what is 31 days from the date of invoice? June 29, July 29, 30th July. So which is the earliest date guys? 30th June for the first payment. And for the second payment, both these will remain the same, but payment date will change to 20th July. So now which is the earliest date guys? 1st July. So for the second payment, 1st July is the time of supply. So when you got the first payment, 30th June was the time of supply, and when you got the second payment, 1st July was the time of supply. Let's do this one. This is time of supply. In the following cases, assume GST is again under reverse charge, but this is services. So which section guys? 13, and it's RCM, so 13(3). Recipient pays in 31 entirely. 31 becomes 61. R goes away. Let's do the second one. What is the payment date guys? 10th August. And what is the invoice date? 1st June. So 61 days is 1st July and 1st August. So which is the time of supply guys? 1st August. Same way here also, part payment, will we have two calculations? Yes. Payment is entered in books of accounts on June 20th and bank account on June 30. Which one will we take? June 20th. Alright. Guys, I want you to read this and tell me whether it's goods or whether it is services. Yes, please. You will get to know in the first two lines only. Is it goods or is it services? It is services, so section 13. And is it RCM guys? Yes, transporter, so RCM 13(3). Recipient pays in 31 entirely. Recipient goes out, this becomes 61. Please now don't read the entire sum guys. This is so easy. You don't have to read the entire sum. Just find out the payment date. What is the payment date? No problem if you go wrong. Please tell me the payment date guys. 17 June. And what is the invoice date? 22nd July, 61 days, 22nd July to 22nd August, 22nd August to 21st September. Which is earlier guys? 17th June. That's how easy the sums become guys. Time of supply. Very, very simple. Look at the next one. Please tell me goods or services. Service, so section 13. Is it FCM or RCM guys? This is FCM, so section 13(2). IP or PP, depending whether the invoice was on time or on late. Guys, when were the services provided? 23rd April. And when was the invoice issued? Much later. So is it late? Yes. So we will not look at IP, we will look at PP. Provision date, when were they provided? 23rd April. And when was the payment received? Advance payment 5th Jan. So which is the time of supply guys? 5th Jan. Next guys, looking at this 7th question, please and read and tell me goods or services. Excellent, goods, so section 12. And capacitors, so it's section 12(2). Not cashews, not cotton. So I demand payment. Is payment to be ignored? Yes. So invoice date and due date of invoice. What is the invoice date guys? There is no invoice date. But when should the invoice be issued? Whenever the goods are removed or delivered. When were they removed? On 2nd August. So automatically 2nd August becomes time of supply. Guys, this is very simple to identify in the exam to get the right answer if you know the shortcuts well. Check the 8th question. Please tell me goods or services. Goods, so section 12. Is this FCM? Yes, so 12.2. I demand payment. Payment is to be ignored. Please tell me the invoice date. Guys, invoice date, where is it given? Invoice on 2nd December. Yes, 2nd December. And guys, when was the due date? When were the goods removed or delivered? The customer collects the consignment on 7 December. So 7 December. So which is earlier, guys? 2nd December. Next. Meal coupons. Guys, are these vouchers for food? So which section are they? Goods? Yes, 12.4. Please tell me, guys. Was the supply identifiable? Looks like, guys, but it's not, because they can purchase anywhere various edible items, guys, on cheese, on different GST on different products. So is the identifiable? Is the supply identifiable? No, guys, it's not identifiable. So hence date of redemption. Next, 10th question. Please tell me, is it goods or services? So which section, guys? 13. And is it lawyer? So is it RCM? Yes. Recipient pays in 31 entirely. Remove R, make this 61. Guys, such a complicated question if you actually read, but so simple, guys. Now please tell me the payment date. November. And please tell me the invoice date. 17 Feb, 61 days. 17 Feb to 17 March, 28 days. 17 March to 17th April, 31 days. So totally becomes 59 plus 2. So basically 19th April. So which is earlier, guys? The earlier one is 19th April. Please check. I hope you're getting 19th April, guys. From 17th Feb to 17th March is 28 days. From 17th March to 17th April plus 2 more days, because you want to go 61 days ahead. Alright, guys, looking at this question here, please check and please tell me goods or services. Service, section 13, 2. IP or PP. Please check whether invoice was issued on time. 30 days, guys, you get. Was it issued in 30 days? No. So it is not IP, it is PP. When were the services provided? 4th and 5th September. So let's say 5th September. And when was the payment made? December. So which is earlier? 5th September. Twelfth one, we will only do the third one. Please read. Please tell me goods or services. Service, section 13, 2. IP or PP. As services were rendered on 7 September. Invoice was issued on 7 September, my bad. But services was still not completed. That means, guys, have you issued the invoice much ahead in time? Yes, good. So you are in time. So you will not look PP, you will do IP. What is the invoice date? 7 September. What is the payment date? 3rd August. So which is the time of supply? 3rd August. Let's look at the 13th question. Please tell me goods or services, guys. Services, section 13. Is this RCM? Look carefully, guys. Recovery agent. to an NBFC company, yes, 13(3). Recipient pays in 31 entirely. R goes out, this becomes 61. What is the payment date, guys? 18th April. What is the invoice date? 7th Feb. So 7th Feb to 7th March. 7th March to 7th April, and add 2 more, 9th April. Is it 18th April? 9th April. 1 second. Guys, books of accounts or bank account, whichever is earlier. So 18th April, right? Yes. And invoice date is 7th Feb. 7th Feb to 7th March is 28 days. 7th March to 7th April, 31 days. But this is only 59. We want to go till 61. So this is 9th April. So 9th April or 18th April, which is earlier, guys? 9th April. Check, guys, check. Is this the right calculation? Yes. Who is the person liable to pay GST? It's under RCM. So Neutron Credits has to pay. And what is the time of supply? 9th April. Guys, last 2 questions. Let's do this. Please read and please tell me goods or services. Good. So section 12, and we don't know RCM, FCM, so 12(2). But guys, here if you read, the time of supply is of the interest. They're talking about the interest. So suddenly the section becomes 12(6). When did you receive the interest, guys? 2nd Feb. So that is the time of supply. And last, guys, munch and munch. This is the last question. Please tell me goods or services. 12(2). I demand payment. Is payment to be ignored? Yes. What is the invoice date, guys? 5th October. When should the invoice be issued? Whenever the goods were removed or delivered. They were removed or delivered on 3rd October. So which is the time of supply? 3rd October. Perfect, guys. With this, we've completed a very, very difficult chapter. Actually, time of supply. It looks small, but it has a lot of complications. And if you remember the shortcuts, you will be good to go. I'm just opening up the exam questions now. Just uploading the question bank. Time of supply, guys, should be a question in your exam, although it's not asked till now very often, but should be a good question in your exam. Let's see, this is the question. Let's read the first one. Please tell me goods or services. Goods, section 12 and 2. I demand payment. Payment is to be ignored. Please tell me the invoice date. No invoice date mentioned. Has they mentioned the invoice date? No. What is the due date of invoice, guys? Whenever the goods are removed or delivered, whenever they removed, 11th October. So 11th October becomes the time of supply. Let's look at trust and fund. Please tell me goods or services. Services. So section 13(2). IP or PP. Just tell me, guys, was the invoice issued within 30 days? 5th June the event was there. Guys, they've not mentioned only invoice date. 1 second, let me check. Has provided the services Alright, so we have to assume here, guys. So let's assume it's on time. If it's on time, when was the invoice date? No, they've not given the invoice only. So we'll ignore the invoice then. Then it's PP. Provision, when did the services were provided? 5th June. And when was the payment made? 19th June. So which is earlier? 5th June. It's strange because generally, guys, they give all details. But anyways, guys, last question. We'll only do the first one. No and Go publishers paid advance of 50,000 to Mr. Ganatra and author. Guys, author, is it goods or services? It is services, section 13, and it's RCM, section 13.3. Recipient pays in 31 entirely. Remove R and make this 61. There are two payments now, first and second. Let's see the first payment. The first payment was 50,000 rupees advance. What is the payment date? 50,000 was made on 5th of September. And what was the invoice date? Guys, invoice date, the first one is 6th of October, 6th October, 31 days, 6th of November. And from 7th November, my bad, 1 minute, guys. I have to calculate 61 days from 6th October. So 6th October to 6th November is 31 days. And 6th November to 6th December is 61 days. So 6th December. So for this first payment, what is the time of supply? 5th September. And the balance payment was made of 1,50,000. It was made on 12th December. So 12th December. And the invoice date 61 days is 6th December. So which is the time of supply? 6th December. Guys, very, very good answers. Very happy with the answers. We are going to take like a 3-4 minute away here. We are going to come back and let's see what we dive into. We'll also take stock of where we've reached and how much is left for tomorrow and maybe slightly day after tomorrow as well. I'll see you back in 2-3 minutes and then we'll continue. Thank you. Any questions in the chat box, please?
Sharp at 11:30, which I have to come to that branch at 8. So
So Rakesh, just wanted to ask you, have you done tax before? Yes, you have. Then it's kind of so I would suggest that you do some self study or some prior reading before the class, so that you can grasp the concepts better, because typically a fast track course will go at a pace which assumes that you've read before. So maybe you could try doing that. Yes. In 2019 you took the class. Oh, that's really long back. So what I would suggest, Rakesh, that since we have the class in the evening from 3 o'clock, in the morning, why don't you go through some notes? Have I given you? No, I was not there in Yeshas in 2019, but there are some handwritten notes that I give. If you can get access to those handwritten notes, then those notes will be really helpful to revise. So try and getting those handwritten notes if you can, that will be useful. All right. And one more suggestion I could is, just before the class you can do some reading and then enter the class, so that helps understand the concepts better. Yes, please. All right, anyone here in the group has my handwritten notes, guys? Anyone has come to my regular class and have the handwritten notes? Can you help Rakesh if he wants like a Xerox or something? So Rakesh, I don't know if anyone else has the notes, but if I can get something, I will definitely help you with a Xerox copy of that. Perfect. Guys, looking now to just take a stock of where we are and how many chapters remain. Guys, we are done with the introduction chapter. We are done with supply chapter. We are done with the charge of GST chapter. We are done with registration chapter. We are done with value of supply, and we are done with time of supply. Of course, some small exemptions also we are done with. Now let's look at what are we left with. We are left with the chapter called ITC, and with ITC, guys, the continuation of ITC, we will also complete the payment chapter. So these both can happen together. Then we are left with the chapter which is called Invoice, debit notes, credit notes, e-way bill, which is not very difficult, easy. And then we are left with a chapter called Returns. I have a feeling this should get over tomorrow in the first session, and this should get over in the second session. That leaves us good amount of time to do other exemptions and an MTP, RTP, etc. So we are on good progress. We made some good progress. We are on the right path and the right page. Alright, so now guys, let's use this time to just do some miscellaneous exemptions. I'm just checking, guys, whether we understand the concept of exemptions, and let's try and do at least 3-4 exemptions in the meanwhile. Guys, exempt has how many N's, guys? Do you know exempt has how many N's? We have 3 N's. One is which is not taxable, one is which is nil, and one which is notification. And what the chapter that we're doing, exemption, is this chapter, those which are exempted through a notification. Guys, does the government have the power to notify anything to be exempt? Yes, the government has the power, and there is a section called section 11 under which they have the power to notify anything as exempt. Goods are not there in our provision or our portion at CA Inter or CA Final, because goods are too many to remember. So we have services which are exempt, and we are discussing the exemption of services. So let's discuss a few more exemptions. Guys, have we done healthcare services yesterday? Have we done education services yesterday? Have we done what else have we done? Passenger transport we have done yesterday. Yes. Guys, have we done performance of an artist yesterday? Yes. And have we done entry into events yesterday? Yes. So let's do one thing, guys. Let's do goods transport services today. Have we done legal services also yesterday? Yes. All right. So let's do goods transport services, and let's do religious and charitable trust. Let's do these. Very, very simple goods transport, because today only we've done GTA. So let's try and see this. First, we are trying to do goods transport services. Guys, again my same point, is India a very big country to transport goods from one country to one corner to the other? Yes. Can you get a bottle of Fanta very north of Sikkim also? Yes. So how do we transport these goods? Is because we have a very strong network of goods transport, and it should be cheap. So first the government says, listen, air transport. Guys, do you think air transport will be expensive? If you can afford air transport, guys, can you afford GST also? Yes, this will be taxable. Next, if you use something like courier services or express cargo or something called Angadiyas are basically local cargos. They are a very local term which is basically used for specialized local cargo. Then these are actually done very fast. Whether they're done by road or rail or air doesn't matter, but will they charge a premium? Yes. So if you can pay these, then you can definitely pay GST, and these are taxable. Next, waterways, guys. What do you think? Does the government want to encourage waterways? Yes. So waterways, excellent Chirag, waterways will be exempt. Excellent Dhruti. Next, guys, rail transport. Guys, railway transport, a lot of people think, oh, it should be exempt, but no, they say no, railway transport, it will be taxable. So tomorrow, guys, if I send 100 laptops from railway from Mumbai to Delhi, the transport of that, will it be taxable? Yes, except rail Dr. NAM. What is rail Dr. NAM? Let's see, guys. So rail Dr. NAM is an exception, means if you transport these goods, the transportation, will there be a charge to transport these? Yes. But will there be GST? No. What is this rail Dr. NAM? Let's see. First is railway equipment. So if you transport railway equipment through railways, there will not be any GST. Next, defense goods, no GST. Next, relief material, any relief material, example flood victims, Kerala floods, etc., relief material, no GST. Will there be a transport cost? Yes. Next, newspapers and magazines, guys, every morning we read them, they have to be transported, no GST on that. Next, agricultural produce, guys, agricultural produce means all your wheat, rice, all the agricultural produce. Next, manure, but which manure? Organic manure, not chemical, guys, organic manure. And last is slightly complicated, guys, what all do we need in our daily food intake? Do we need milk? Or at least as per our parents, do we need milk? Yes. Do we need salt? Yes. And do we need food grains? Yes. So milk, salt and food grains. But what kind of food grains? What does North India like? Flour. What does South India like? Rice. And what do everyone like? Pulses. Guys, the transport of all these by railway, will there be a charge of transporting? Yes. But will there be any GST? No GST. So rail Dr. NAM, I hope you know what is rail Dr. NAM. Rakesh, I hope you're understanding this. So because I see your replies very often, so I'm wondering, you are answering, so you definitely are answering and understanding as well, so that's a good job. Next, guys, I want to transport some furniture from one house to another house 3 kilometers away. Can I use a small tempo? Yes. Guys, is he transporting my goods by road only? Yes. But will he issue me a consignment note, etc.? No, guys, it's a very small distance. So these tempos or these goods transport, road transport, which are not GTA, that means they don't issue a consignment note. They don't issue a consignment note. These are exempt. Example, guys, some books are printed in my printer's place and I need to get them to my office. Guys, can I get them through a small tempo? Yes. Will he issue a consignment note to me? No, guys. So this one is exempt. But what if I use a goods transport agency? What's the difference? Even he is going by road only. Yes, but goods transport agency also issues a consignment note. Then in that case, this is how it works. If the GTA is providing services to the government, guys, can we dare charge GST in this case to the government? No, exempt. If the GTA is providing services for personal purposes, example, my household goods, I'm moving to Bangalore and I'm sending my household goods, that will also be exempt. Think about legal services, similar, guys. If it is LL Dr. Nam, guys, do you know what is Dr. Nam? But here I have to put LL, that is also exempt. And if it's any others like business entity, like I'm transporting goods for Amazon, then will it be taxable? Yes, finally this one will be taxable. And what is the GST rate, guys? 5% under RCM. But do they have an option of FCM? Yes, they have 12% FCM also. Guys, that is GTA. Revising on the next page again and discussing what is LL Dr. Nam. Guys, quickly be with me. Air transport, taxable. Courier, express cargo, angadiya, taxable. Waterways, exempt. Railways, taxable except, guys, rail Dr. Nam. And what about road transport without a consignment note? Exempt. But road transport with a consignment note, that means GTA, that is, tell me exempt. Or what about the government? Exempt. Personal purposes, exempt. LL Dr. Nam, exempt. And to others like business entities, taxable, but have an option of RCM as well as have an option of FCM. So we are left with just LL Dr. Nam. Guys, do we know Dr. Nam well? From here to here, defense, relief, newspapers, agricultural produce, manure, and what is M? Milk, salt, food grains. And in food grains, what do North Indians like? Flour. What do South Indians like? Rice. And what does everyone like? Pulses. They are transportation. This is the same Dr. Nam, but only LL is added. Let me explain what is L. Guys, if in a truck, L is low value. If in a truck you are transporting some goods and the transportation cost is very low, means up to 750 per person, then it is exempt. So guys, if I'm transporting some mobile phones, 4 mobile phones, and the transportation cost is up to 750, will there be any GST? No. And this is per person, yes. And in one tempo or in one truck, next L is again low value, but this is not per person, but this is per vehicle up to 1500 is also exempt. Let me explain this slightly more detailed. Guys, this is a tempo going. I have put my goods on the tempo and the tempo guy has charged me 699 rupees. Will there be any GST? No, this one will be exempt. Because up to how much, guys? Up to 750 per person. This is a tempo going. He is charging me 1699. Will there be taxable? Yes, because it is not up to 750. This is a tempo going, and all the goods in the tempo, because they are going to such a short distance, all the goods, the entire cost of transportation is 1400 rupees. Will there be any GST? No, because per vehicle, guys, Per vehicle 1500, per person 750. Both are they low? Yes, so that is LL Dr. Nam. Alright, so that is goods transport, guys. Very soon we'll open up to questions also from this chapter, but right now this is LL Dr. Nam. Let me check if there is a question on this. Yes, there is illustration number 3 and question number 12. So let me put that. All right. Exemption chapter. Alright, let's do question number 12, which is on goods transport. Here we go, guys. Bablu Transporters, a goods transport agency, transported relief materials meant for victims of Kerala floods, a natural disaster, by road from Delhi to Ernakulam for a company. Bablu Transporters of the view that is not liable to pay GST on the said services. They are required to advise on the said issue. Guys, is this exempt? Yes, remember LL Dr. Nam. So Messrs. Bablu Transporters is correct. The opinion is right. And there's an illustration number 3. Let's check. Lots of illustration, guys, here. Let's see illustration number 3. I don't see any illustration number 3, but we'll check. Yes, guys, this is goods transport. All right. Discuss whether GST is payable in respect of transportation services provided by Raghav Goods Transport Agency in each of the following independent cases. Transportation of milk. Guys, what about transportation of milk? Is it exempt? Yes. Transportation of books on a consignment transported on a single carriage, 3000. Guys, is this low value? No, it is taxable. And transportation of chairs in a single consignee up to 750. So this one is exempt. So this is exempt, this is exempt, this is taxable. Perfect. Guys, that's what it is here. All right. Let's do one more exemption, guys. We'll do charitable and religious trust. Slightly important there. All exemptions are important. This one is charitable and religious trust. Yes, and that should be the last thing that we do. After that, we'll open up for any doubts and then we'll end the session, guys. We have enough time tomorrow and day after to finish whatever we need to finish. All right. Guys, here, charitable and religious trust. Let's discuss, guys. Guys, Tirumala Trust is a religious trust and PETA is a charitable trust. Or Infosys Foundation is a charitable trust. Guys, please tell me, do they help the needy? Do they help the poor? Is it for the benefit of the society? Yes. So do you think we should charge GST to them? No. So we have exempted them in a large way. Where can I get handwritten notes of a lecture? I think I have GST notes. I have DT also. I think I should be having. You can just order it. I think we just charge Xerox fees. That's it. Xerox charges, and then we can ship it to you. All right, guys, but very useful handwritten notes they are, and they are very helpful one day before the exam. Anyways, coming back, guys, religious and charitable trust, whenever they make supplies, even if they charge, we don't want to charge GST on their services or their supplies. So let's check this exemption. But guys, they should only be registered trusts, because otherwise anyone would say I am a trust and I don't want to pay GST. So they should be registered under the Income Tax Act. All right. First, guys, if a religious and charitable trust, they provide services in the nature of here or here. What is this? First, H, healthcare. If they provide services in the nature of healthcare, like they give cataract operations, or they serve terminally very ill patients, or if they serve AIDS patients, etc., healthcare. Next, education. If they provide education, especially to the underprivileged, skill development for people who are old, but skill development, guys, only for people more than 65 years in rural villages will be exempt. Next, R. If these trusts give services in nature of religion, spirituality and yoga, example, they organize a yoga camp, then will that be exempt? Yes. And last, E. If they give services in the nature of environment, wildlife and forestry, then in all these cases, will it be exempt? Yes, it will be exempt. I repeat, guys, please tell me yes or no. Are these religious and charitable trusts registered? Yes. And are they providing some services in the nature of here or here? Yes. H is for healthcare, education, religion. Religion includes spirituality and yoga, environment, wildlife and forest. HERE. Guys, remember, education also includes skill development, but only in rural areas for people above the age of 65 years. Only that will be exempt. Guys, here I especially want to talk about a yoga camp. What if they organize a yoga camp where you can learn yoga, plus you can stay and you can eat food also? Guys, is this a composite supply? And what is the principal supply, guys? Are they naturally bundled? Yes. And what is the principal supply? Yoga, which is exempt. So this entire service will be exempt. Next, guys, can a religious and charitable trust, also sometimes a religious trust in the neighboring areas of Tirupati, guys, next to the temple, are there some rooms where you can stay of the temple? Are there some halls where you can conduct religious ceremonies? Yes. And are there some shops which sell local religious products? Yes. So these will be exempt only if the tariff is very low. How low, guys? Less than, rooms less than 1000, halls less than 10,000 per day, and shops less than 10,000 per month. If the rent charged is this much, then it will be exempt. How do you remember less than? Please tell me, guys. Is it a trust? So will they charge less anyways? It's not a hotel, guys. So hence less than, less than, less than. And guys, this is only for religious trust and only in the precincts. That means only in surrounding the temple. What if, guys, Tirumala Trust has a shopping mall in Chennai which they've given on rent? Will that be subject to GST? Yes, that will be subject to GST. Next, Any donations received, guys, will that be exempt? Yes, because guys, donations have no quid pro quo, so it is not supply only, so it will be exempt. Next, guys, any sports recreational training. Yes, guys, it's very difficult to understand Tirumala Trust providing sports recreational training, but there are sporting trust also, sportsmen's trust also. So if they provide sports recreational training, not religious trust but charitable trust. Example, someone is teaching how to play hockey, someone is teaching how to play some sport, then in that case will that be exempt? Yes, but it should be recreational training, guys, not professional training, and you should be a registered trust. Next, guys, can a trust also operate an old age home? Yes, we need old age homes in India, guys, and that will be exempt if it's for 60 years or more people, and you charge maximum up to 25,000 per month. So guys, can it be a luxury old age home, 2 lakh rupees a month? No, that will not be exempt. You can provide that, but it will not be exempt. Let's see what else is there in religious and charitable trust. Yes, these are all in religious and charitable trust. Outside of religious and charitable trust, so this is for everyone. Yes, this is for all, or this is for everyone. Guys, what if you're a priest, or what if you're a pandit and you conduct religious ceremonies? Guys, do you charge some money for that? Yes. So priest, pandits, etc., etc., in whichever religion, whenever they get money, they are exempt. CAs are taxable, priests are not, so they are exempt. Next, guys, whenever you go for a Hajj or whenever you go for Char Dham Yatra up north, the Hajj committee organizes it. If they organize it, it is exempt. And if the Char Dham Yatra is organized by Kumaon Vikas Mandal, then it is exempt. Guys, what if Kesari Tours is organizing a Kedarnath Yatra? Then it will be taxable. Only and only if Hajj committee is organizing a Hajj or Kumaon Vikas Mandal is organizing a Kedarnath Badrinath Yatra, then it will be exempt. Next, guys, anyone giving arts training, Indian classical art like painting, dancing, singing, classical Indian arts training. How do you remember between arts and sports? Guys, arts, A for arts, 8 for all. Anyone can be doing this. This will be exempt. But sports training, who should be doing, guys? Sports training only registered trust should be doing. So all these are general exemptions. Yes. And now, guys, I have a question. What if a charitable and religious trust like Tirumala Trust, what if they buy an AC? Will they pay GST? Yes, guys, they will pay GST, but will they get any credit? No, they will not get any credit. So that means, guys, all the inputs are subject to GST. Yes, except one input. If they are getting services bahar se, guys, that means what are they doing? They are importing services. Guys, bahar se services, is it taxable? Yes, 7(1)(b), good answers, guys. Yes. And will the trust have to pay the GST? Yes, but they say if this bahar se services is in relation to your charitable activity, example, you are teaching, you are doing cataract operation, and that operation is being done, is being done remotely by someone abroad, or you are basically teaching some underprivileged kids computers, and that service is coming from abroad, then in that case there will be no GST. Only this one services input is exempt. And that's it. There are two questions, question number 2 and question number 14, but let's recap this, guys, quickly. Guys, who are you? You are a religious and charitable trust. Are you doing good for the humanity? Yes. Do we want to charge GST to you? No. Guys, here, HERE, health, education, religion, spirituality, yoga, and environment, forestry and wildlife. These will be exempt. But remember, education also has skill development in rural areas for more than 65 years population. Yoga camp is exempt. Rooms less than, shops less than, hall less than, everything is less than, it will be exempt. Only if it's in the precincts of the temple trust. Donations are exempt. But what if, guys, Vivo pays 100 crore rupees and now it's called Vivo's Tirumala temple? That kind of donation will be taxable because that is a quid pro quo. Guys, sports recreational training is exempt. Old age home is exempt. Old age home even run if the trust runs it or the government runs it, both are exempt if it's up to 25,000. Next, for everyone, priest, Hajj committee, Kumar Vikas Mandal and arts recreational training is exempt. And input services, input goods are all taxable except one, when it's coming bahar se for charitable purposes. Alright, let's look at the questions, guys. The questions are question number 2 and question number 14. Services provided by an entity registered under section 12A of the Income Tax Act are exempt from GST if such services are provided by way of charitable activities. Elaborate charitable activities. Guys, there are 4 charitable activities: HERE. Healthcare, AIDS patient, terminally ill patients, education, which also includes skill development, religion, which also includes spirituality and yoga, and last, environment, wildlife and forest preservation. And 12th question, which is here, 14th question. Ekta Charitable Trust, registered under, it's a registered trust, manages a temple in Rohini, Delhi. It has given on rent a community hall located within the temple premises to public for celebration of Tej Mela. Rent is 9,500. Guys, is this exempt? Yes. What if this was 10,000? Then taxable, guys. It should be less than. For exemption, it should be less than. So this is what it is. Perfect, guys. I'm going to leave you guys on this thought that we have completed a lot in GST. Tomorrow's day, the third day, we'll be doing a chapter called ITC. We'll be doing a chapter called payment. Actually, these both chapters are linked, and this we will do in the first session. In the next session, we will do the chapter called invoice, and we will do the chapter called returns. So mostly tomorrow we should be done by the major part of GST, but tomorrow is only third day. We have 4 days for GST. So the next day what we will do is we will finish the exemptions, and we will look at different things. Like, guys, we will look at exemptions, and then we will look at RTPs, we will look at MTPs, and we will look at any other query that you have. Let me check, guys, if there's anything else that we need to do. 1 minute. Just checking the chapter names here. I don't think we're missing out on anything. Perfect. Yes. MCQs we can do, but honestly, guys, MCQ booklet we could do. Yes, we could do that. Guys, I had a suggestion from one of the students that can you leave us with some MCQs that we can solve as homework. What I would suggest is ICA has come up with an MCQ booklet. That MCQ booklet, guys, I have already recorded a session. I'm just going to put the link up here. Just 1 second.